So Madie and I hit the farmer's market today. We're going to make 3 different kinds of pickles, and we're also going to make some zucchini and pepper relish with all the goodies we got from the local farmer's markets here in North Carolina.
Hello again and welcome to Hot Mom's Dinner Club. Today I'm going to make some pickles. So here we have our Kirby pickling cucumbers. We're going to make just good old dill pickles first of all. We're going to make some spicy pickles. And then we're also going to make the sweet bread and butter pickles. We're going to do all of these pickle chips. I'm going to do another episode. I'm going to pickle some beets, make pickle relish. And I'll also do some spears in that one. But in this one, we're going to do all pickle chips. And then I'm going to make a zucchini and pepper relish. I've got some fresh bell peppers here, some jalapenos, and then a medley of sweet peppers. And we're going to make that pepper relish. And I'm going to flavor that one with some of the fresh basil that I've got from my own garden. First thing you want to do, make sure you got all your produce washed and dried or patted dry. We are actually going to dégorger our cucumbers. So the first thing you're going to see me do, I'm going to go ahead and start getting them all chipped up. And I'm going to put them in 3 separate bowls since we're making 3 different kinds of our pickles. I'm going to add our accompaniment vegetables to each one. We're going to sprinkle them with salt, and that's going to release the moisture from the cucumber. So you're going to be degorging the moisture out of those. And we're going to let it soak for a couple of hours so you don't have watery pickles because cucumbers have a lot of water in them. So I'm going to get my 3 different bowls produce ready to go. I'm going to sprinkle the salt on there and then we'll continue on. So you want to take the blossom end off of these pickles just to make sure that you don't have that enzyme in there that will make your pickles soft and also is a little bit unsafe to eat. So that's the first step that you want to do. And next we're just going to start making our chips. So the first one we're going to do, we're going to start with our bread and butter pickles. I'm going to put white onion in that, red pepper, and then this is our sweet bell pepper mix. I'm going to save the hot one till the end, okay, because I'm going to be using the same cutting board. So starting with this one first. On the onion, I'm actually going to cut it in half first, and then I'm going to do my julienne on that. That way the pieces aren't so big in here, but it's still kind of like a julienne. It's just that it's only half the size. When you get it down to there, you can just kick it on its side. Throw that in there. Now on these little sweet peppers, one of the reasons why I got those is because I think that I like to see them just round pieces on those peppers. And then on the big regular size red pepper, I'm just going to cut that in half. Get out as many seeds as you can. And then we're going to kind of do the same thing on this red pepper. We're going to cut it in half this way. And then we're going to cut it to the julienne, but just half of the julienne. Now to our dill pickles, we're going to just be real basic on this. I'm going to do that same onion cut that I did on the last one with red onion this time. And I'm also going to put some garlic in those, but I'm going to wait and put the garlic in after we remove the excess moisture from them. I'm going to add the garlic in when I add in the rest of the spices. And these will also be heavily seasoned with the dill, okay? On this one, I'm going to put in the garlic in chips, like that. And for the last one, the spicy peppers, I think I'm going to put the garlic in whole cloves. But like I said, I'm going to add the garlic after they have set and released their moisture content. I'm going to add a little more red onion to this. And then I'm going to add our peppers in to the spicy one. For the spicy peppers, I'm going to add in the red pepper in the julienne, the half julienne like we did on the other. And I'm going to add in the rest of these peppers, including the hot peppers. Took out most of the seeds on these. On these hot peppers, I am going to halve them so there won't be the whole piece in there. Those will actually be halved and julienned. And I'm going to also add a little onion into that and some celery for a little bit of crunch to that. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to sprinkle our salt on there. Canning and pickling salt, okay? This will keep your pickles from having a cloudy mixture in your liquid. I'm going to start with the dill pickles here. I'm going to put them into something larger just to get them mixed. And I'm going to keep our spicy pickles in the largest one. That way we don't get them confused with our bread and butter because there are a lot of similarities here. So they'll all go back in the same containers to sit for 2 to 3 hours. But I'm going to put the spicy ones back in the big one. That's a mental note so you remember which one is which. So I had a total of almost 6 pounds of cucumbers here. So I just got a couple of tablespoons in each one. Going to mix those up. I'm going to dump them back in the original bowls. Oh, that smells delicious. So I'm going to pop all 3 of these into the refrigerator. Going to let them set for 2 to 3 hours and we're going to continue on. So while our cucumbers are sitting, I'm going to start working on our pepper relish. So I've got 4 cups of mixed bell peppers here. I've got garlic, onion, celery, and I've got 3 medium zucchinis. I'm going to start sauteing all of that and then I'm going to get it in the sugar, vinegar, mixture and let it simmer for about 20 minutes and then I'll get it in the jars and we'll start jarring those. Meantime, while this is sauteing, our cucumbers have been sitting for at least an hour, almost an hour and a half now, so I'm going to give those a stir as well. Now we got everything in here. We're going to add in our vinegar and water, filtered water. And we're going to add in 3/4 cup of sugar. We're going to let that simmer for 20 minutes. So our zucchini and pepper relish has been simmering now for 20 minutes. We're going to get that in the jam jars. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to start on our bread and butter pickles. I'm not going to pre-sterilize our jars because we are going to simmer them for half an hour at 180 to 185 degrees. So they don't need to be pre-sterilized. They are brand new clean jars. So I'm going to get that into the jars and I'm going to drain out our bread and butter pickles. I'm going to do that first because I don't know that all of these are going to fit in the pot I have. The jars have to be covered by 1 inch of water. So I'm probably going to have to do this in 2 batches. I'm going to start with my zucchini and pepper jam and the bread and butter pickles. And then the next batch will be the dill pickles and the spicy pickles. So that way I can get these in with the jam. And then I'll know the second batch is going to be the spicy pickles. And I can get everything labeled accordingly, and I'm not going to accidentally write the wrong name on the wrong pickle. So over here I've got all my seasonings. I'm going to get those simmering in the pot. So here I have our rice wine vinegar, our apple cider vinegar, 2 cups of sugar. I've got mustard seed, celery seed, I've got cloves, coriander, turmeric, and then of course the fresh dill. So I'm going to dump all that in We're just going to bring this up to simmer to kind of marry all the flavors. Meanwhile, I'm going to get our pickles straining out. This is all from all this water that's going to come out of these is from them sitting in the salt. Let this sit out for a bit. I'm probably going to even pat it dry a little bit. And then I'm going to start putting this into the jars as well. If you can see, there is a good amount of water that did come off of these cucumbers. If we get that water out, then we're concentrating the flavor here if we don't have all that excess water in there. One thing we're going to do is we're going to put some pickle crisp granules in all of our jam jars before we get started. Just put it in there before you put your pickles in there. That way you know you got it in there. And also, all of our recipes are calling for filtered or purified water, okay? Because you don't want to get any sediment in there. So we're just going to go ahead and put those in the jars so we know they're in there. It's just a calcium chloride. I'm going to put a little bit more in the larger jar. And then we'll start putting our pickles in there and get our liquid in. Alright, so we're also going to make sure that we don't have any air pockets in here. So you're just going to move these around. If your level goes down, then you want to add in some more juice to those. And then just going to leave about a ½ inch of the headspace on the top. And you're going to get your, wipe off your tops, make sure they're all clean around the top. And you'll get your lids on. And then we're going to simmer these for a ½ an hour. And the water's going to be between 180 degrees and 185 degrees. And one more thing on the lids, don't get them too tight. Just get them to where they're just taut, okay? You don't want to get them too crazy tight. You want to be able to make sure that you create that seal. And if you have one of these guys, it's really make your life a lot easier. So I've got my jars in there. They are covered with a little bit of water, about 1 inch of water. They're gonna go for a ½ an hour. Next, we're gonna get our dill pickles working in the same manner as we did the others. So to this one, we're gonna put the dill is gonna actually go into the jar with the pickles. I'm gonna put all the other seasonings in the pot. Let it simmer and kind of let it bloom all of the seasonings in here. For the dill pickles, I've got white vinegar and apple cider vinegar and water. And then I'm going to toss the rest of the spices in. I've got bay leaves. We've got celery seed, mustard seed, dried mustard, ground coriander, pink peppercorns, and the garlic chips. So we're going to get all of that in there, and then we're going to save the dill. We're going to put the dill in with the pickles in the jars and then pour the canning liquid on over the top. And then last but not least, for our spicy pickles. We got apple cider vinegar, regular vinegar. We're going to put those garlic cloves, or just kind of cut them in half or quartered them if they were really large. We got some chili peppers in there. We got some chili peppers. We got some more dried turmeric. And we've got our bay leaves and our dill. We're just going to put all that in. I'm just taking them out of the water. We're just going to set them on a dry tea towel to dry. I usually kind of pat the top of the lid dry as well. I can already hear some snap, crackle, and popping, so that's a good sign. That means they're getting good and sealed. So here we have our homemade pickles and zucchini and pepper relish. So all of these have been sitting overnight. They've cooled down. I started labeling them. I'll show you a quick way I like to label them. I know you're probably thinking, I can remember which ones are which, but these, you might have her hanging around for a year. I always like to label mine because sometimes my memory is not as good as I think it ought to be. And although everything is fresh in your memory right now, in a couple months from now, you might not remember. So let's make sure we get labels on these. Also, you want to date them so that you know when you made them. Here I have my spicy pickles, and you can see there's not as much yellow in the spicy pickles as I have in the bread and butter pickles, because remember we put the turmeric in the bread and butter pickles. Here we have our zucchini and pepper relish, and then just our straightforward dill pickles here. I always like to try a string around them right underneath the lid. Do a double knot on that, nice and tight. Then you just slip in your tag. Like I said, this has the type of pickle and also the date that we prepared them. And then you can just do another tie on there. You can make a bow if you would like. Now, if you don't want to take the time to do all that, you can always just make a sticker. Just take any sticker. You can just put that on there. So there's a couple different options. Also, you can give these as gifts, and then you might definitely want to make a nicer label for them. And so now it's time to try these delicious pickles. I would really like to thank the nice folks at the Happy Goat Ranch for growing these cucumbers that we were able to pickle. And also, they're such a nice couple. Madie thoroughly enjoyed feeding the goats and playing with the goats. She had a great time. So a big thanks to you all for having such a nice place for us to stop in and visit. So check out the website. You'll have all the recipes for all of these in there. Thanks for joining me for the first canning and jarring episode. Hot Mom's Dinner Club.